All right. Hello and welcome to TFR.
Sorry, my thing was going up 99%. What is that?
What is what?
It says 99% of my corner.
Now it says 100.
It says 99% of my screen. Oh, sorry. Continue with the intro.
I'm keeping this in too. Okay. All right. Hello and welcome to TFR, or Thanks for Ruining podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Mars.
And I'm one of your hosts, Astro.
And welcome to our first edition of Movie Monday, a new segment on our show. Basically, Movie Monday is an idea we came up with to have a more relaxed version of our podcast that you can enjoy. Here, we're just going to watch a movie every Monday and review it, share our thoughts.
Not with y'all. Not with y'all. We're not gonna watch a movie with y'all. We gonna watch the movie and we gonna talk about the movie. That's what.
Yeah, we watch about a movie. That's not how English works. We watch a movie and talk about it, and we'll talk about it here every Monday and review it and give our fair thoughts.
And the movie could be something old. It could be something that's in theaters, and we're just like, oh, let's go see it, and then talk about it together. And
Like,
stuff.
for example, I have not seen Dune. Do not hate me. So that might be a thing in the future.
I don't like Dune.
You've seen it? I heard it was a cinematic masterpiece. That's what I heard.
I don't want to do it.
Because they're gonna come to me.
The thing is, like, okay, and this is just me and fantasy. People can be mad, but I can't read fantasy or watch a lot of fantasy because there's a lot of world building in fantasy. At least with watching fantasy, they have, the words that they have, you can pronounce and stuff like that. When reading fantasy, no, you just gotta figure it out yourself because there's no way.
Have you seen the movies?
Yes, I've seen the movies and I didn't like them because it was boring. I find fantasy to be boring because there's a lot of world building, and now I have to know about your politics, I have to know about your religion, I have to know about all that.
I love
so
that.
boring.
No, I love the intricacy of it all. It's complicated, it's complex, it's deep and rich. I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that if we ever make a Dune episode, which
you know what? And then people were gonna drag me in the comment section and be like, "This bitch don't like culture or nothing." I'll be like, "You right? Okay, and it's still boring." What you want me to do?
Okay, well, that aside, this week's movie, this Monday's movie, as you can tell by the title, is the new Snow White live action movie.
Yeah. I pay money to see this. I don't. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So
I looked online at my local theater and tell me why I could sit in any seat I wanted to because no one else was there.
You know what's crazy? When I went to go see it, I couldn't sit in any seat I wanted to. It was actually a pretty packed theater.
Really?
Yeah, when I went, I had to sit at the side. That's how packed it was because I hate sitting at the side. Yeah, I was like,
and then like when someone's going to the bathroom, they have to like, oh, excuse me.
But like I sat at the side because I went to the theater by myself because I just was at the mall and I was like, there's a movie theater and I wanted to see this movie and nobody wants to see it with me, so I'm gonna go see it myself. So I took myself to the theater to see it myself, and I sat at the side where no one else was sitting next to me, so I could put my feet up. I was having a grand old time.
Yeah. So the movie was okay. And to explain how we're gonna do, we each have our own, like, we've each rated it individually and we each judged it in our own special way. And now we're gonna I don't know what Astro has thought of it and vice versa. So we're just gonna share that. And then we are going to come together and collectively rate it and somehow agree on a rating to both give it. And once we agree on a rating that we both think the movie deserves, we're gonna put it on our tier chart, which if you're viewing on YouTube, you can see. On Spotify, I don't think you can.
Yeah, we don't got that deal.
No, yeah, and I'll explain the tiers later once we get to there. So let's get into it. What did you think of this live action adaptation of the
Should I give my rating now or later?
Just tell me what you thought first, and then I'll tell you later. Then, yeah.
Okay, so my thought of it was I didn't hate it. That's the
Mhm.
thing. When I watched it, I didn't hate it. I was like, I don't. The thing is, I also never really liked the original Snow White either.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
So I didn't have any nostalgia. Nothing was attaching me to this movie
Right.
as intensely as apparently everyone else. So like when I saw it I've seen the original, but when I saw it, I was just like I liked what they added to the story. I liked the songs too, because the music I could see myself singing personally, and I also liked that they gave the characters a little bit more. Like Snow White wasn't just hoveled up into a house. She went out and tried to do something
Yeah.
and stuff like that. I like that they gave the evil queen more lines,
Mhm.
though I don't like who.
Yeah. I get that completely.
I don't like that they gave her more lines, but I like that they gave the character.
I know exactly what you mean. Oh my god.
And I like that the dwarves were a little bit more involved too. And that's pretty much all I liked about the movie. I like what they added and I like the songs primarily.
Mhm. And that's fair. Any criticisms about the movie?
Now, in my most humble opinion, Gal Gadot can't act.
No, yeah, I heard everyone talking about Gal Gadot's acting, and I was like, "Well, she played Wonder Woman. How bad could it?" Yeah, no, I ate those words right
She
up.
couldn't even act in Wonder Woman. She
No, yeah, no, because I think we briefly talked about this before, but I feel like with Wonder Woman, she doesn't have any like when you watch Wonder Woman, you don't. I don't feel like, at least me personally, I don't see any like underlying like motivation or anything. She's just there, kind of. You know what I mean? And that's fine as the character she is. And Gal Gadot does a good job at playing a character who means. Let me not say that. A character like that. The Evil Queen, I feel like, because she's motivated by all this jealousy that she's not the fairest, and then Snow White is apparently more fair than her, and is jealous of her beauty and all that, right? That's not communicated extremely well because I mean beyond the blunt lines that get delivered, there's nothing else to give that.
that and one of the things that I saw a TikTok on this where I think she's an acting coach and she was explaining how Gal Gadot's acting, why it looks so unnatural to a lot of people, and it's because the way she acts is very predictable
Hmm.
and it's not in a way that a person would naturally act in the conversation. So she
Yeah,
acts very unnatural though she's
yeah.
acting. It's just such an uncanny thing to watch her, especially watching her sing the Evil Queen song, because I actually thought the Evil Queen song was pretty good.
Yeah,
And
I liked it.
but
I liked
then
it.
she sung it. I was like her voice wasn't bad. It's just everything around what she was doing
No,
felt
yeah.
so weird to
Weird.
watch her do.
Yeah, I feel that. Me personally, let me see. I didn't like much. I'll say that I didn't like much about the movie.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, I felt. See, I love movies, and this is I've only felt this a few times watching a movie, but I felt bored while I was watching it. Like the movie. Normally when I'm watching a movie, I like get immersed in it, and I feel like I'm not watching a movie. I'm watching like an experience, watching a story be unfolded in front of me. I didn't feel that. I was actually a little bored, and I kept like taking breaks to like go get something to eat and come back.
Bro, bro, I was bored too. Gotta be honest with you. I was sitting there on my phone and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm watching a movie." And then at one
Right.
point, I was like, "I wish I could."
Oh, seriously, because I was so bored. I was so bored watching it, and if a movie makes me if a movie can't even keep my attention, which for people thinking like, oh, I guess you have a low attention span. If a movie is good, I will drop everything and I will watch it without taking a single break,
I
unless I
have a
have.
low attention span.
No, yeah,
I have a very low
I
attention
think we
span,
all, but like for,
personally.
but yeah, I really like. It took me a while to like, be fully invested, and eventually I was like, hey, we have to record soon. Let's watch it. So I sat down and I just powered through it. And oh my god, that was the longest and most wasted hour and a half of my life.
Bro, it was like the thing is, like I said, I did like everything that they added to it. And I'm trying to be very charitable with this movie
Mm,
because of what
yeah.
the main character, Snow White, her in particular, was going through throughout this entire thing.
The
Oh,
actor or the actual character?
the actual actress, the actress
Oh,
that
yeah,
Snow
Rachel Zegler. I love Rachel. She
Yeah,
can
she can. The thing is about Rachel though, I was watching the movie and she does this thing with her mouth.
oh my god.
It's like, why do you keep doing that? She does this thing with her mouth where she moves it in a way, and I'm just like, I know that that's probably like a tick of hers or something that she does, but it catches I'm watching her. Like if you ever catch this movie on a random station, watch her mouth because every time she does it often to the point where I think she does it so unconsciously. But I was catching her throughout the entire movie. I was like, why are you doing that with your mouth?
That's
Why are
crazy.
you doing that? The thing is though, love her. She can sing down. She wasn't the worst part of this movie.
Definitely not. I really wanted to go see her Romeo and Juliet performance 'cause I heard it was amazing. But anyway, yeah, I would say I did like I like the Evil Queen song, even though like Gal didn't do the best job. I still liked it. It was pretty good.
It's okay.
Like I was watching, I was like, oh my god, something's actually happening for once. So I did
Mm-hmm,
like that, and I will give the movie credit for that.
mm-hmm.
And like you said, I like that the dwarves played a bigger part in the movie. Speaking of the dwarfs, that is my main criticism with this movie. Because the moment I saw them, I was like, "What the heck am I looking at? They look fake. They look so fake.
They did look fake. I was like, ooh,
Right? Like I
could have worked
knew
on
they
the
were
CGI a little
CGI, but I didn't know how badly CGI they were. And speaking of CGI, I could tell like what was CGI. I did not like that. Like the sets looked kind of fake, and I don't know if it was my TV or if it was like what you call it, or if it was like whatever. But when I was watching, I was like, why the colors look weird? Like they look weird to me. Like I know what they're trying to do, like like make it look natural or whatever. But like the way like it kept switching from like a really warm color to a really cold. I was like, what is happening? Why is it keep doing that? I was like, what
No,
am I
I think it
watching?
was because when I saw it in the theaters, it was very saturated.
Yeah, it
The
was very
the
very saturated.
movie, the movie was very saturated. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
like, even when I was watching, I was like, oh, this is really colorful and bright. But then again, people have been complaining that movies aren't colorful anymore, and well,
well, depends on what
it's
kind of movie
colorful
you're
now.
watching. Like movies are like very like theme heavy. Like if a movie is like very
Yeah,
like dark and gritty, it's not going to be very saturated, and that's intentional.
yeah,
Um,
and Snow White is not really dark and gritty.
it's not, but also I did not like the colors.
It's you right. It was just very bright. It
Yeah,
wasn't like it was bright enough. I think it was supposed to just hold your attention because it was so bright. It didn't work for me,
yeah.
but it was supposed to hold your attention. And granted, the kids in the theaters I was with, in the theater I was with, they were into the movie. They were
Well,
like,
yeah, I feel like if you're a
oh
kid, like it's fun, right? Like you're not gonna notice all these things, but like
no,
once you're
no, no,
like
no, because
grown
like
up
you're a
a little
kid.
bit, yeah.
This is gonna be
Also,
their
like
nostalgia.
yeah. Well, see, I don't really remember too much from the original movie. I'll be honest. I watched it
Mm-hmm.
once.
Uh huh.
I could not tell you when I watched it because it was that long ago, but I know it was a
Mm-hmm.
kid.
Because it's
Um,
not a great movie.
no, because n- ask any kid, ask any Disney person who's watched a Disney movie, ask them what their favorite Disney film is. No one is
Who's
going to
gonna
say
say
Snow
Snow?
White.
That's what I was explaining to everybody. I was like, if y'all look me in my eye. I asked you a Disney princess. What's your favorite Disney princess? Nary a
No,
single one of you bitches gonna say Snow White. So
and
I
if
don't
you
know
do, you're
where
a
y'all
liar.
come out the woodwork like you Tory Lanez fans and
Oh
talk
my god.
about you love this man and love this woman, and I ain't never seen y'all. Like I ain't never seen y'all before.
No, seriously.
I was like, this is why everyone. There's a lot of reasons why this movie is flopping, and I feel like that's the biggest reason because nobody cared about.
Nobody like it's weird because of all the movies to remake, Snow White really like no. I feel like you ask anybody who's your favorite Disney princess, they're gonna say, "Oh, Cinderella, Ariel, maybe Rapunzel." No one's saying Snow White.
No,
I
and I
forgot
feel
she
like
exists.
even though it's like I know you were gonna say probably out of all the movies to remake, why Snow White? I feel like Snow White was necessary to remake because it's so outdated.
No,
Like a
yeah.
14-year-old is being married to a 33-year-old. Like the prince was 33 in that film.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he was pretty darn old. So like it needed a reboot to match modern day standards and stuff like that. Because if you notice on Disney's like Disney Plus, if they have like a movie that has like racial tones or that child marriage thing or something like that, they would put this doesn't depict the whatever of the company at this time point in time, whatever the heck. It may have depictions that may be upsetting to some viewers and stuff like that. So I think it was necessary to redo it in a much more modern lens to give it a much more modern update. It's just that I wasn't checking for Snow White because I'm not a Snow White fan. And I'm not saying there aren't Snow White fans out there.
They probably are.
It's just that I mean, apparently they are because they were out here battling for this movie and Rachel to be out of it. Like they came out the
Oh yeah.
woodwork, like I said, like Tory Lanez came out the woodwork swinging for a movie for a princess that I never heard that was someone's favorite a day
No,
in my
yeah.
life. Because then I ask what you like about her, and you can't tell me nothing. Maybe you'll say, "Oh, I like her singing voice. I like how old style the movie is." I'm like, "Okay, well then what else?" Because that woman, that actually no, that little girl offered you nothing the entire film.
No, yeah. I definitely feel that. And also, it's just
In my opinion, in my opinion.
no, yeah. And if even if you exclude the fact that no one asked for this movie, and like like when I was watching it, I was looking at it from like a purely like okay, I'm gonna look at it from like its own perspective as a standalone movie.
That's fair.
It felt like it was paced weirdly. I don't
Yeah,
know why. I feel like things were happening either too fast
or
or
too slow,
too
bro.
slow or with zero explanation as to why things were happening. Also, I feel like I don't remember, so I could be completely wrong, but I feel like in the original, when the evil queen disguised herself and gave Snow White the apple, it didn't look like the way it did in the live action film. Like it felt extremely rushed, in my opinion. I'm not really sure, but yeah.
Let me think. Because I also have not watched the original film in years.
Years. But like I don't
And
she goes up to the front door and she's like, "Oh, I don't have much to give you, but I have this apple for the road." I'm pretty sure that did happen in the animated, but it felt really fast. She's like, "Here." She's like, "Okay." Huh. Dead.
um well, because in the animated version, the evil queen framed it as a magical wishing apple to Snow White.
Yeah,
And Snow
but she
White was
didn't
making
do
a
that.
wish on the apple. And that's
See,
why it took her a very long time to bite it. But in this film version, because she was out on the road looking for her boyfriend, which I have a complaint about him too. Don't you worry, I'm gonna get to him. But
mhm.
like, when she was out looking when she was on the road looking for a boyfriend, she was like, "Here, this is something for the road. Eat it now." And she was like, "Okay," and she ate
So I was like, "Okay, well."
it.
But yeah, like things like that, in my opinion, felt really, really like rushed forward, and other
Yeah.
things were like really, really like slow.
Yeah. And that was a
But
very weird it was very weird because I'm just like they added so much to a film that gave you nothing to begin with. And
no, yeah,
let's just also keep in mind though that the original animated film had a lot of limitations because
mhm,
it was the first animated feature film of its kind ever
right,
be created. And I'm not
right.
going to take that away from Snow White. I want fans to know I'm never going to take that away from Snow White because
That
she
is an
is the first.
accomplishment. That is an
That's a
accomplishment.
huge accomplishment. So it had a lot of limitations on what it could do in terms of storytelling and stuff like that. But because of how animation has progressed throughout the world, throughout the years and stuff like that, I'm looking at it from more of a modern lens, and it's going to
Right,
be a little bit more biased because I know the feats of animation, what it can do now, versus what it could have done back in when Snow White was made. So I'm gonna try to keep in mind that what the limitations were, but I still personally feel that the film obviously was lackluster because of those limitations. It doesn't change the fact that I never really liked the original film either. And the reason why I don't like the original film is not because of those limitations, but because of the fact that Snow White was 14 and the guy was, I believe, in his 30s or 20s or something like that. He was not of her age group. So I feel very uncomfortable about that when I read about it. But most
Mhm.
importantly, I didn't like the film because it doesn't reflect my modern beliefs of what a girl her age, at least at 14, would or should be thinking about, because she's talking about someday my prince will come, and I'm over
Right.
here like, girl. But that's
Yeah.
just me. That's just me.
And
Some people are thinking about that.
yeah,
That's
and I
fine.
know Rachel, like, when she was talking about the film, she did like bring that up specifically, like, yeah, like we're changing this, that, and the third to make it more, you know, acceptable to a modern viewer, which I do appreciate. I just didn't like the movie.
I do appreciate it too. I also did not like, the one thing I would say that the original film has over the obviously it has a lot over it, because again, one of the first of its kind. But one thing I really liked about the original film was the fact that Snow White's prince was actually a prince. They
Because this one
they
he's just
dwindled her prince in the live
yeah,
action to be a
to
bum.
a yeah, he's a peasant
He's a bum. He's a bum stealing.
living in the
Now, is
woods.
he a bum because he's a victim of his circumstances? Yes. But he's a bum nonetheless. And I was like, I was so mad
No,
for
yeah.
my good girl. I was like, how dare you reduce her prince to a bum?
Oh my god.
I was so mad. I was living in my seat. I was like, so, when I first saw him, I was like, okay, maybe this is her. And then I saw him the second time. I was like,
This is so real.
how am I
Oh my.
dare you think my good sis like that? Now that I just talk about how much I don't like someone, yes, but she's still my good sis. And
And
you
that's
did
fair.
her like that?
And that
You
is
did
fair.
her like that? That's crazy.
In the animated film, I don't remember because again I watched it like 25 years ago. Um, did what was his name? Dopey? That's one that doesn't talk, right?
Yes.
Did Dopey talk at the end in the
No.
animated?
No.
Yeah, I was like, wait, he talks?
No. No. No.
He's talking.
No.
Why is he talking
I
so
think in this
much?
movie they framed him of not talking for a completely different, separate reason. But I think in the original film he was just mute. Like,
Yeah, I
or
think they
like, I think also in the original film they probably just couldn't find a voice actor for him.
maybe.
Maybe that's why, because a lot of people were mad that they got rid of a mute character, but I don't think Dopey was ever devoid of talk. Like, it was never really explicitly said that he was mute. But then again, I do understand the frustration with people when they say, how could you get rid of a character that was mute?"
Yeah,
Or
because
a representation in and of itself. Even though, again, ain't nobody, when you think of mute characters, ain't nobody was thinking of Dopey.
yeah, but I mean, he was a mute character, like whether intentionally or not.
Whether intentionally or not, he was still a mute character. So I
Yeah,
understand the frustrations of people when they say like, "What? Like, that's like, why does he have to talk? Like, he didn't really necessarily had to talk."
he didn't. And then when I found out he was the one narrating the entire, I was like, what? Because it turned out he was the one that was the narrator,
Hmm.
and I was like, okay, that's he just talk.
I'm
He
like,
doesn't talk.
okay, all right. Oh, I
Okay.
guess if that's what they want to do, I do
Yeah.
like that in the movie they gave Snow White like a backstory on her parents, because for we know in
It
the
wasn't
original,
explained in the original, was it? Like what happened to her
not
parents?
really, not that I remember,
Yeah, because I don't remember like
because like,
yeah.
yeah, I was like, because like, and in the original, obviously she has a stepmother, so obviously the
Yeah.
father obviously remarried,
Remarried,
but I
yeah.
never really knew what happened to her mother, or it
Me
was never really
neither.
explicitly explained. I could just be wrong. I could go back and watch it and just figure out, oh, okay, maybe they did. But
Mhm.
from what I remember, I don't remember explicitly said that how her mother died and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
then how her father eventually met his demise. I like the fact that the evil queen,
Killed her.
spoiler
Killed
alert,
him.
killed him.
Well, I mean, if you're watching this, you should have at least watched it too.
You should have at least watched it too. But
Um,
like, yeah, so I like that the evil queen killed him, and I like
is
that
that
fact.
not what happened in the original?
I don't think so. I think it probably was alluded, but it never really was explicitly stated that she was the one that did it. But it can be heavily implied that she probably was.
Yeah. I did like that they explained what happened to the parents too, because
Yeah.
I see I don't remember much, and I was thinking about after I finished the live action version, I was like, if I really want to be a critic, and if I really wanted to give my true analysis on this film, I, as a responsible creator, would go back and film critic would go back and watch the original, and I could not bring myself to do that, so I said no.
It's because it's just like it's regardless of how, like, again, this is just my personal feeling, regardless of how people feel about it, if you think the live action's boring, you're gonna think their animation was boring too.
Yeah,
Because to
I.
me, at my age when I was young, I was like, I was bored. I was like,
Mhm.
oh, what is this girl offering me on the screen but screaming and running? Like screaming,
No,
running
seriously.
away, that evil forest and stuff like that. And the cute little songs that she had. Like I do like Snow White's original songs too. And
Mhm.
again, like I said, one of the things that I like that they added in this film is the music. I like the music of this film. I do.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think they're bad at all. It's like up there to me with The Little Mermaid and maybe Aladdin. It's up there to me with those live actions because I really
Well,
like.
I like the live action Aladdin way because that one.
I didn't
I
like
know
it.
people don't like it. I know people don't like it, but it did not have me bored. I will give it that.
I didn't see it in theaters, so I can't gauge how bored I was. I think because I was home, I wasn't as bored because I was
Mhm.
doing another thing. But
Yeah.
I feel like if I was in theaters watching it, I probably would have been more entertained. I don't know. I
Yeah.
can't gauge it.
Well, I couldn't watch. Well, see, my family went off to watch the live action Little Mermaid while I was cramped in my room studying for finals. I
Damn.
will never forget it. I was like, mom came in and she was like, "Hey, we're all gonna go see the Little Mermaid. You want to come with?" And I literally had my textbooks open, like cramming for my last final. And I'm like, "Ma, it's finals week. You can't wait 2 more days." What? So I
She
couldn't
said
go.
she gonna see that movie now.
I know. I was so mad. They
And it
left
was
and
a
they.
good movie. Out of all the live actions, I would say my favorite. You know what? Maybe we could do a separate video on that. Our favorite live, or I could just say it now.
Well, actually, you know what? We should go through the Disney live actions and rank them ourselves. We
Okay.
should do that. Because I would say I'm gonna say it now because I'm gonna forget. My favorite Disney live action is definitely Beauty and the Beast. It was done very well. Like it was done very well.
If you
I
continue,
can no, you give me a face, and I feel like people will agree with me though. Like that is a live action remake that I did not mind. I was like, oh, okay, it was really good.
I hated that one.
Oh my god, you see,
And
you
I didn't like it because of Emma Watson and because she can't sing. And I really I watch these movies for the music. I
mhm,
don't, the story to me in these types of these types of these types of movies, because they're musicals, are secondary. The music is what is driving me. Even though the music drives the plot, yes, it drives the plot,
mhm.
but it's still the plot is still to me secondary. I don't give a fuck about that goddamn plot. To be
Well,
honest,
well,
it's
for
just the
me,
second thing I focus on. The first thing I focus on is the music because, quite frankly, what makes Disney movies, especially Disney princess movies, so nostalgic is the music. The music tells you
um,
about the plot. The music tells you about everything that's going on. But like I'm not gonna be sitting there and pretending like I'm not there to listen. I'm not there to not listen to Tiana sing Almost There. Like I'm obviously
okay,
there to hear that. Or I'm here to sing to hear Ariel sing Part of Your World. I'm here to hear that. That's what I think of as the most important thing about these films for me. For me, it's the music. That's why I really like the music of Snow White so much, because I can see myself personally singing it and listening to it on my off chance and stuff like that. But if I have to say my favorite live action, I have a ranking, but my favorite live action is the Cinderella one. And that one actually had very little music. Unironically. Because
I'm gonna see that one.
it was the only live action. It wasn't the only one, but it was the one live action that got the casting correct. It got the her acting was on point, his acting was on point, and it still had that corny, kindness is everything, whatever, stuff like that, but it was still well acted. And the her dress, Cinderella's dress in that movie, chef's kiss. The dress in Belle, boo boo garbage. and it was boo boo.
No,
I expected the level I expected in Cinderella. I expected in Beauty and the Beast, and the fact that I did not get it, I nearly fell out my seat. I was like, "Get me out of here! Like, get me out!" I didn't even see it in theaters. I said, "Get me out this room." Because I knew in my heart of hearts Emma Watson couldn't sing, and I'm not sitting there listening to her sing a freaking something that wasn't there before in the beginning song Belle. I'm not going to sit there and listen to her sing those renditions poorly. I knew in my heart of hearts that woman couldn't sing, and
oh my god.
then to hear all that autotune, I was like, that's crazy. That's
Oh,
why when
well,
they casted Halle in the live action of Little Mermaid, and then I heard her rendition of Little Mer of Part of Your World, and I cried. I was like, oh, this is gonna be a good movie. And that is literally my second favorite live action. Out of all those live action, those two are my favorites, and I continuously watch them to this day. And it's been years for that Cinderella, and I fall asleep to those movies. Listen, I love them. Those are the two live actions they got right in my eyes.
back on Snow White. Oh my god.
Listen,
We gotta have to.
I'm very passionate about
I can tell. Oh
the
my god.
music I like. I
I
like
can tell.
music. I really like
No,
music.
see, I love musicals. I don't consider many. See, I know Disney princess movies are all musicals. I don't consider them musicals in my heart. They're like they're a sub tier of musicals, and they are like beneath me in regard. Like for example, Hamilton. I'll fight anyone on this. I will fight anyone. Hamilton is one of the
The
best
movie
musicals
about
of all time.
slave owners. The
Hamilton
musical.
is
The
not
musical about slave owners.
about the American Revolution. Okay,
Slave owner.
okay, okay. Hamilton was not a
George
slave owner.
Washington was a slave owner. Thomas Jefferson raped his slave owner.
Anyway, okay. Anyway, I'm not mitigating that, but it still is our history. It still goes
And
over
then
the
cast the
American
black
Revolution.
people and use
And
rap. I'm playing. I'm pulling you like I really love
you
Hamilton.
can't see my face, guys. But I'm like giving her a death stare right now.
She is. They is.
It's a really first of all, I love the diversity of the cast. We're getting like way off topic from Snow White, but we're
Yeah.
on musicals, okay? I love Hamilton, and I could talk about Hamilton forever. And we are definitely doing a movie Monday on Hamilton because I need to have another excuse to rewatch it. So we are
I'm
going to do
rewatching
that.
that.
Have you seen it for the first time?
Yes, I've seen it.
All right, I think I'll watch it again for a second time.
I'm doing that. I have all the songs memorized. Trust me, I love Hamilton. I love it for the music.
It's
Everything else
amazing.
about it is questionable, but I
No,
love the music.
it's amazing. Lin Manuel Miranda writes like all of Disney songs. I didn't know that, but he does do that.
And he didn't write from Moana too, which is why everyone said the music was bad.
See,
That's
I
the
saw.
point.
We have to do one on Moana too, though, because I've seen like 10 minutes of it and I did not like it.
I didn't even see it.
No,
You
yeah,
know what? I saw 5 seconds of it and with Tamia because we heard something. We're just like that sounds weird. We walked in the theater. We saw Moana too. We was like, oh, what the? What?
no, yeah, I
Walked
heard it
out.
too, and I was like, what is that? um, back to Snow White though.
Yes, get us on track because I will
Right?
go off on a tangent.
Bring it back in. I feel like that's what we do. We go a little off topic, but it's fine. Out of 10 stars, what would you give Snow White?
4.5. A very generous 4.5.
Yeah, I was talking about generous.
Again, because I love the music. Music is everything to me in these movies. If the music is boo boo and the story is boo boo, it's a ass movie. But if
Yeah,
the
yeah.
music is at least good, I'm like, I could tolerate you. I
Yeah.
can tolerate you. I could give you 4.5 out of 10.
Personally, I'm giving it a 2 out of 10, and that's high for me because I wanted to give it much lower, but I was like, I was comparing it to other films I had watched, and I was like, well, it's. I didn't want to turn. I didn't want to turn it off. I didn't want to walk out. I didn't want to throw up. It wasn't like garbage. Like what's a garbage? I'm not gonna say that.
No, say it.
The original Wizard of Oz is trash.
Oh, that's controversial. No, cut that out.
So
They're gonna hang you.
they're gonna hate me. They're gonna hate me. I tried to watch it. Cause I watched Wicked and I watched The Wiz, and I was like, I have to watch The Wizard of Oz, and my mom wanted me to watch it.
Judy
So
Garland ain't do all that for you to call her movie garbage.
I turned it off. I couldn't even finish it. I turned it off.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to cut this out. We're gonna cut this out.
I got to the Emerald City. I saw how it looked, and I turned off the TV.
Bro, it was made for like the 50s or something.
I know, I can tell.
And it was the first movie ever in color. That
And
was their big selling point.
I'm sure that in the 50s it was
Like I said,
groundbreaking and
this is the same
lovable.
argument for Snow White that I had. Because
Yeah,
at the time it was groundbreaking.
and now it's
But
not.
you're
And
looking
now,
at it in a modern lens.
yeah, I did not like it. I did not like it at all.
Dang.
No, yeah. So like for me,
So you have no appreciation for the classics. That's crazy.
no, I tried to have appreciation for the classics, and the classics did not deliver. Anyway,
It did not deliver to your modern lens.
it did not deliver to my. I don't know. Anyway,
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
shut up. Um, Not look at you. Let me figure out what I was gonna say. I appreciate that. Oh yeah. So for me, it wasn't as bad as that experience to where I have to like destroy my monitor and go off the grid for a month. It wasn't bad to that regard. So it deserves
I
like
want you to
higher.
know that's like saying the original Annie is bad.
We're not gonna talk about that right now, but
Do you just not like old movies?
I don't like it. I don't like the way it looks. I like the okay. People don't like it. I like the modern Andy, the newest one with like I think Jamie Foxx. I think he's in it.
I know what you're talking about.
I like that one.
Mm-hmm.
I like
Yeah,
that
I know where you lie in the whole modern era. It's because you young. It's okay.
one. Well, I like things to look
A
good.
certain way, yeah, I know,
Like it
but
has to
like
look good,
you
even if
have
it's not
to like if you
like
go back and watch the oldies, it's a
no
story of
like
more like of appreciation for what they
no because
could do back then.
I know that things can be good from back then because Star Wars: A New Hope, it was made in like the 70s, I think, and yeah, 70s, and it looks pretty good. I can watch it. It looks
Well, that's
good.
the 70s, it's not the 50s.
Yeah, 20 years can do a lot.
Yeah,
Um,
20 years ago July. So therefore, we
yeah,
shouldn't judge. You know, I
well,
shouldn't say much
okay,
because
and the
I
Avatar
did say the
movies
original
from
Snow
James
White.
Cameron look like they were shot yesterday.
Okay, but that's like 2009. That's not that
No,
long
it's
ago.
not. It was like
2009.
let me look it up.
It was two. I told you it's 2009.
So I think I would
Uh huh.
give.
Mhm. Uh huh. Uh huh. Yeah. I like how you don't. I know that off the dome, bro. Because I used to be obsessed with how that movie looks, and I
I
saw
love
it
James
today, and
Cameron.
it was really good.
Oh my god, like Titanic from James Cameron looks amazing too.
Exactly, because James Cameron is crazy.
I love James Cameron. I'll
Yeah,
watch
that
any
man's
James
crazy.
Cameron
He
movie.
would literally put you in the situation.
No, yeah, and because and I'm going off topic again, but because of the way he shot Avatar: The Way of Water, because all the actors were actually underwater during the
Mhm.
filming. Because
Mhm.
of that, like the water physics look really realistic, right? And compared that to a movie like Aquaman, you can
Don't
forget it.
even, don't even, don't even mention that movie. Don't
Oh,
even mention that movie. The
we
only
should
reason why
we
we
should.
all saw that movie is because he's fine. That's it. Like,
Well, I like
that's
DC, so I
it.
watched it.
Mm.
And I'm excited for the new DCU, and we'll get into that in a future movie Monday. We definitely will.
I
Um,
don't like hero movies. Why would you make me watch that?
we're gonna watch it. All right, we're gonna watch it.
I don't like heroes like that, bro.
Well, no,
I've
but I
never
love
met a hero I like
DC.
really.
I love DC. It looks like anyway. Um.
If you
So
don't,
yeah,
you can't see my face, but I'm looking at them like disgusted.
yeah, no, yeah,
Like,
she
how
is.
dare they?
But yeah, I would give it like a nice like 2 out of 10. I feel like it deserves that. I feel like any less would be a little bit unfair. Any more, it is being a little generous. So I feel like a
Mm,
nice 2 stars is where it lies.
yeah.
Um, I think this is the perfect time to get into our tier list. So actually, I'm going to see if I can show it to you. Screen. I'm just a little stupid, guys. Give me a second. Okay. Can you see the tier list, Astra?
Yeah.
All right. So Um, here's our tier list. Those on YouTube can see, those on Spotify cannot. Obviously, I think I'm saying the obvious now. Stop. So let me explain our tier list again. So now me and Astro have given our fair and honest reviews. We're going to first before we go into tier list, come together to make a nice rating, and then we're gonna put it on this tier list. The tiers are the highest high a film can go is God tier. God tier is like the film is amazing, has little to no like criticisms, best cultural phenomenon, deserves to be preserved until the end of time. And then below that is like it's almost a masterpiece. It's not quite a masterpiece, but it's almost there. It's still a really good film and respectable. Below that is not good, not bad. It's not the best film, but it's also not the worst. It's like, maybe I'll watch it again, maybe I won't. Below that is watchable. Watchable is like it was watchable, but I don't know if I ever, see that again. And lastly, the worst garbage is worst thing I ever saw. That's like I never want to see it again. Burn it, trash it. It should have never been made.
Yeah. I have to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should switch not good, not bad, and watchable.
You think not good enough actually be below watchable?
Yeah, because not good, not bad kind of feels like it should. It's like this is not good, this is not bad, but I would never see it again. That's kind of what that feels like.
Okay, I'll do that.
And watchable kind of feels like it's like almost masterpiece. And like this was watchable. It wasn't good, but it's not bad, but it's watchable.
Okay. So we're gonna switch those two. Well, how can you spelling not wrong? That's just embarrassing. Okay.
Not wrong.
So I think we have to come together and agree on uh on a rating for this. So I feel like the highest I'd be willing to like to go is like a 3.
Yeah, I was gonna say three.
Yeah, 3 is like if
I
I
was
hit
like three sounds like the middle number for
right, I'm
give
like
it a
I
three.
know there, and it's like ew. I think we pretty much agree on that. So I think that this movie belongs in. Okay, honestly, I want to put it in worst thing I ever saw, but I'm pretty sure you're not gonna agree with that. Oh, I put it in the accent.
Because it's literally not the worst thing I ever saw. Like I've
Yeah,
seen
it's not. I've
worse.
seen worse, but it's
That's
it's,
why I
it's
said switch good, not bad, because it's not good nor is it bad. It's just
yeah, it's like
it's like if it's on TV, I'm if it's on someone else's TV, I'm not gonna tell them to turn it off. I'm just gonna walk out the room.
no, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Right?
I'm gonna come back and I'll probably watch maybe 5 minutes and I'm gonna leave again. Like that's the type of movie this
Yeah,
is. Because
yeah, like,
it's not the worst thing I ever saw,
but it was
and
pretty
it's not
bad.
the best thing I ever saw. It was just it wasn't like I feel like people were gassing it when they said, "Oh, this is the worst movie," and to me they were, because I'm just like, this is literally not the worst movie I ever saw in my entire life. I've seen worse, and that
Yeah,
does not even compare to what I've seen. So I put it in not that not bad.
I agree. Definitely. Like we said it for this entire episode, it's like it definitely has its immense flaws, and from the acting to the cinematography, it really was a lackluster film, to be honest. And I was
Mhm.
pretty disappointed watching it because I feel like no, because I feel like Disney, this huge mega corporation, if they really put their minds to it, they can make the best films known to mankind if they really wanted to.
And they have a
But
lot of people to do that
they
too.
have a lot of talented people. I don't understand why they keep making flops.
And
Like,
we're like movies that, because like okay, if you're going to embark on redoing your entire catalog, I want to see the level of care that you put into it, like you did their animated features.
mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
want to see something more than what you're giving me. Because
yeah.
while I do like what they have added to some of the films, like I like the songs they added to Ariel to kind of round out her character, and Prince Eric's character, giving him his own song made sense, even though I don't like that song. But like it made sense in terms of the story because they're supposed to be diametrically, almost like the not diametrically opposed, but the same. This they want the same thing, kind of same thing, similar things. So
Mhm.
what better way to show that and to give them more character and then to give them their own songs and talk about how one wants to go out to sea and one wants to be on land and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Giving them their own wants and needs, like making these full fledged characters is a perfectly fine thing to do. It's just I wish, and my personal opinion, I think Disney movies, I know it's for children. I know it is, but I think they're corny.
No, and I feel like because Disney knows that their main audience
It's
is
children.
children,
They're gonna
that
make it corny.
they're so lazy with it. They
They
feel like,
are.
okay, and they know that no matter what they make, it's going to make money. So
Hmm.
why invest money in making something good when you can invest less money and make a greater profit? So
No matter
ultimately,
what they make, is it's just because like people have kids. People are not gonna. Well, a lot of people are not gonna stop having kids, and they're gonna continue bringing their kids to see these movies.
right,
That's what's keeping this type of industry alive because it's not the adults, it's the children who want to go see them. Like children going to see making Mario $1 billion because children is such a profitable market. Like like child movies, like the reason why these live actions are doing well is because a lot of you are on nostalgia. Like every time you
right,
went to go see it, you want to see what it looked like in real life. You are very curious, and that's okay to be curious and stuff like that. But you're very curious to see how something you watched as a kid looks in real life. I mean, I'm curious about it too. I was always curious. I
right.
mean, not enough to go see it half the time, but like that's the whole reason why these movies are also doing well is because there's a nostalgia aspect because you lament the fact that you're no longer a kid, a lot of you.
Mhm.
That's a therapy thing. Go to therapy. um but also because there's children are going to go see it. Like I said, there was a theater full of kids when I was watching it.
Oh,
Like it
yeah.
was like I know people said, oh, the theater was empty. My theater wasn't empty. It was full of people with children.
As even like with Disney's animated stuff, it's fallen off like with Moana too. And also Disney lost its like unique art style. Like I've shown to my friends to prove this point. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna show you two movies. One's a Disney movie and one's a Pixar movie. Tell me the difference. And half of them can't. Like Big Hero 6, that's a Disney movie. It's not a it looks like a Pixar movie, but it's not. And I'm like, oh my god! Like once I realized that, I was like, okay, Disney lost its individuality. What made it unique, and
Hmm.
now it's just like it's just this money printing machine. That all it cares about is money, 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 money. Not about making
And it is
good.
a corporation, so
Yeah, and even with I know that we're like getting away from Snow White and more into like Disney. And we're kind of doing that all episode. But that's because like I don't like Disney. I don't like
what
them
you know.
because my favorite franchise of all time, Star Wars, I feel like they have drained every last ounce of creativity
I feel
out of
bad
it.
for that fan base.
Oh my god, it's like torture because ever since the acquisition, there's not been too many good Star Wars movies, and they like once they hang on, for example, like once they hang on to an IP like The Mandalorian, they rinse it and repeat it and try to get as much money out of it as possible at the expense of a good, enjoyable story to watch. And I hate that.
Yeah, I like I'm not a huge fan of Star Wars, so a lot of my takes are going to sound stupid. So take me with a grain of salt. But I don't particularly care for it. But my favorite Star Wars movie is the Disney made one, and it's Rogue One because I really
No,
like
Rogue One was done very well.
it. Was done very very well.
But
But in my opinion, I do see what the fan base is talking about when they talk about how bad some of the movies and even some of the TV shows are. Like I
mhm,
like the fact that they can expand upon the world that's already there and
yeah,
maybe
I
add
love
new
that. But then,
characters and talk about them and stuff like that. And we talk about characters that a lot of people probably only read about or only heard in passing or build upon a story that's already there, like they did with Rogue One, and talk about how they got this particular disc about the Death Star and stuff like that, how they got the particular plans for them
mhm.
for that. I like that they were able to go back and do something and amend kind of that storyline because my dad said that when you watch the movie with Princess Leia, all she said was that a lot of people died to get it, and they never really showed what happened. And it Rogue One showed what happened. So I do
Yeah,
like that they can go back and kind of mend these stories and build upon a franchise. It's just how they're doing it.
it's
You can
really,
tell it's very
really bad.
soulless.
It's so they only care about the money that it brings in, and I understand they're a business, but I mean, if once you're in when you're in the entertainment business, your job is also to provide something that people enjoy.
Hmm.
And I could talk about Star Wars for years on end and not even get through it all because I love this franchise with all my heart. I started watching Star Wars when I was probably like 9.
Hmm.
Um, I started watching it because your dad's funny, but
Hmm.
yeah, I love it, and it's just so sad what's happened to this franchise. And other franchises, like even I never liked Marvel, never will like Marvel. You can sue me on that. But I will say, Disney did not make that better either. Like Quantumania, oh my god.
I will say, like when they first had it, it was good.
No,
Like
yeah, but
the
like post
first
Infinity
batch of
War, they
movies
don't know
they
what to do
made.
anymore.
Yeah, I feel like it's that. Like, I feel like the first batch of movies they made with the first Avengers, I remember going to see that, like, not going to see it multiple times, but I remember people saying they went to go see it multiple times because it was
Oh
that
yeah.
good. And I remember loving it and watching it multiple times because it was that good. And
Mhm.
it was like I said, I'm not a superhero fan. I don't particularly care for Marvel either. I don't particularly like or hate them. The same thing with DC. I don't particularly like or hate it. I'm just like, if you I watch it because my father likes watching these movies, so I go to the theater with him to watch it. It's not my favorite franchise or anything,
Mhm.
but I did enjoy Avengers, and I did enjoy the third Thor and the first Thor. I did enjoy.
Oh my god, but
That's
don't get me
it.
started on Love and Thunder. Oh my god, I went to theaters. I went to the theater to watch that movie,
And it
and I
was
walked out of it, and I was so
bad.
mad. I
It
was
was
so mad I
bad.
watched that.
I feel like Disneyfied it. Like I said, there's something corny about their movies. Like,
Yeah.
again, it's geared towards children, yes, but there's adults going in and watching Marvel.
No, I
That's
feel like
the
Marvel is
franchise.
more. Marvel's
Yeah.
audience is much older than
Yeah.
Disney's
And
audience.
it's because they've been reading the comic books since they were young. And you have so much source material. So why, in
No,
ever
yeah.
loving, are you going off the source material? Aren't you
I
going
feel
off
like
the
people
source
that do
material?
that,
Maybe
they
all
do their
right.
own grave. No, yeah, when they deviate from the source material, you can tell. Oh my
You
god, you
can
can tell.
tell. It's just like maybe. Well, I can't really tell. But if they, I don't know if they are going on or off the source material. But if they're off the source material, get back on it because
Please.
even with when I go to the theater and watch it, I just have not been feeling like taking my dad to see any of them because one, I have a choice, and two, and two, it's because I'm just like I have not been impressed with their movies.
No,
It's just like the last movie I was impressed with was Wakanda Forever. That was it.
oh well, I loved it, and we can also do a movie one day on Wakanda Forever. I know it's older, but I don't really care.
Me
Um,
either.
and I know people do have like gripes about it, but I think they did the best they could without
Hmm.
having Chadwick there. And
Yeah,
I'm so sad he's gone. My God,
I'm
I'm
glad
so
that he.
sad.
I'm glad. I'm sad that he's.
You glad?
I'm not
Glad?
sad. But nah, I'm sad that he's gone too because you could tell that he was really good for the franchise and stuff like that.
Yeah, and he
But I
deserves it
am
back.
glad that they are going to cast or recast Black Panther. They're still just going to keep the memory of the original one, the one that brought him to life on screen. Even though a
Yeah.
lot of people have their gripes about that, saying they should have just recasted T'Challa.
No.
I just feel
No.
like Chadwick Boseman brought a lot to the role, so
Yeah,
I can
and I
see
feel
why
like
they didn't.
there's something off to me about recasting someone who is not in the movie or franchise anymore because they died. You know what I mean? Like
That's
it's one thing to recast someone if they like don't want to be on the film anymore or
mm-hmm.
they do something that gets their contract cut or that's different to me. But like when they pass away, it's like I feel like we as an audience and them as a studio have an obligation to respect their memory, and part of that is not recasting them. And if you're gonna like keep on with the franchise, then you have to have a way of having that death impact the franchise, not just be like swept under the rug. Like they had T'Challa actually, die in universe, and
Yeah.
and I forgot the mom's name. I forgot her name.
Oh, I forgot her name. Oh shit.
But but hearing her talk about it, like, oh my god, you can feel it, and even
Hmm.
hearing Got this name too. But hearing like the cast members talk about Chadwick, you can tell there's a genuine connection there. And
Yeah.
we are really off topic because we're talking about Cinderella, Snow White anime.
Yeah,
But
but like I'm gonna circle back to the conversation you were talking about how people can't tell Pixar and Disney apart. I miss those days when you could tell Pixar, Disney, and DreamWorks apart because DreamWorks had the same animation as Pixar, but you can always tell them apart tonally and stuff like
yeah,
that. Because
and DreamWorks I believe is not they're not owned by Disney. I forgot who they're owned by, but
no, they're owned by Illumination, which made the Minions movies and
is
Despicable Me.
Illumination owned by Universal?
I don't know, but I all I know is that Illumination has a president that one of my coworkers was not friends with, but was friends with the son, and I told her to tell him, well, not friends, but I told her if she ever sees him again, tell him that his father makes crappy movies
Oh my
because
god! Yeah, Universal owns
Illumination.
Illumination.
Oh, okay. Well, they're doing a very bad job of what they're doing because in my most humble opinion now, granted, these are again, I'm not here, I'm an adult, all right. I just want you to know I am a full-fledged adult. I see animation because I like animation. I like Disney movies. I like all of that stuff. I'm a full-fledged adult. I fully am aware that these movies are for kids, but that
Right.
doesn't mean that they should be lackluster in story. Because one of the things, like I know before I said
Well,
that music is what drives a lot of these movies for me, and it is. But I also do remember the plots of these movies. I remember liking seeing the twists and stuff like that, and I remember how not corny it felt. The only corny Disney stuff that I remember seeing is the Disney original TV movies. Those were corny. But whenever they release
oh
something
yeah,
in
like Lady
theaters,
Rebel.
corny. But whenever they release something in theaters, it still felt like there was some sort of like soul to them.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said before, no one can tell apart the Disney and the Pixar anymore, and it does make me sad because I miss when you can differentiate that stuff.
And I
Like
also
now,
miss.
I like you said with Big Hero 6, I didn't even know it wasn't a Pixar film. In my head, it was a Pixar film the entire
And
time.
me too. Until I looked it up.
I was like, that's not a Pixar. Zootopia is also not a Pixar film,
That's crazy to me because it looks like a Pixar film to me.
right? I'm like, this looks like a Pixar film because Pixar was known for these bubbly characters, like bubbly, like bubble looking characters, like
Yeah.
very bulgy and stuff, very cutesy and stuff like that.
Yeah. I also miss 2D animation. You see
Yeah,
it less and less as time goes on. Everyone's going
because
3D.
it's so time consuming for a lot of people.
Yeah,
But
but
I
I
did hear
like
a
it.
rumor that Disney may be going back to it.
I hope so. That would give me a lot of hope for Disney because I love 2D animation. I love blending 2D and 3D animation. It looks the best. Like if you look at the animated Spider-Man movies, they look amazing.
Oh, a work of art those movies are.
I know we
It's
have
giving me
to them
goosebumps
one day.
just thinking about it. Like,
I know.
a work of art. That Studio Sony, I think it's Sony that owns that.
Sony,
Y'all
yeah.
did y'all big one with them too.
Yeah, Sony does it. I feel like Sony is always hit or miss with their movies because
Oh my god, right? Like it's like either you like it or you don't, but
exactly.
they big one
But
with
they
them.
they do making some good movies. Some of them
They
are awful.
do.
Some of them are good.
Some of them are awful, some but they that particular Spider Verse
No,
movie,
yeah, they ate with the Into the Spider Verse and stuff. Oh, they ate that
and
up.
I'm gonna be freaking 30 in that theater watching the next one.
Of course, Sony did. They
Right
did the job,
there, sitting in that theater, like, oh, look at that. Look at all these children here. Anyway, I'm sitting
right?
right here.
Exactly. No, yeah. To wrap things up though, because I actually not sure how long this is, and I think we all know now. I'm a lazy editor. I think my final thoughts on Snow White is I will never watch it again. Um, if they hadn't made a live action version of it, I would have never thought about Snow White again. And I hope the next movie Monday we do has a better movie.
My final thoughts on Snow White is that she was already a lackluster princess to begin with. To me,
Hmm.
I do think Rachel Zegler kind of brought a little bit of life back into her and stuff like that. Again, I'm not negating the fact of what Snow White, the original film, brought to a lot of people or anything else like that. This is just my own personal feelings. A lot of these are just our own personal feelings about certain
Yeah,
things. If you don't like it, it's fine. It's cool. You could tell us in a nice way how much you don't like and how much you disagree with certain points or certain things that we said. That's fine. But
exactly. The only movies I'll die over are the sequels in Star Wars. I will fight anyone over Star Wars. I will.
But regardless, I wouldn't watch it again either. But
Yeah,
again, if it
no.
was on TV and I was just bored, I'm gonna sit there and watch it.
Me
I'm gonna be
personally, I
listening to
wouldn't.
music though. I have the music already on my playlist. I'm gonna be listening to it.
That's fair. I think that's it for this week's movie Monday, and the first ever movie Monday, hopefully not the last, that we're doing.
Yeah,
I
we're gonna get
appreciate.
canceled after this. After that whole my whole tirade and stuff like that, and you
And
talking
then the
about
whole
Oz,
was it a Ross? Yes. Yeah,
we're gonna be
no.
canceled.
Yep,
They're gonna be calling us fake film critics. I'm not
exactly.
claiming I'm we're not claiming I'm a film. I'm not claiming I'm a film critic. I don't.
Yeah,
I watch
no.
things for enjoyment and do things for enjoyment, and these are just my own personal opinions.
Exactly. But yeah, after the whole Wizard of Oz comment and other stuff, we might be out of business. But
Uh-huh.
hopefully this will last. I do enjoy making these because I love movies. And I've just recently
I
started
like
getting
them.
I just really started getting back into movies. I used to not go to the movies too much. Now I'm there like every weekend. So love it. This is it though. So I hope you enjoyed. If you stayed and watched this long, I appreciate you and we appreciate you. Please tune in next week. We're doing another movie Monday next week, Monday. And if there's any new drama alerts or anything, we will upload a Thursday video. Going forward, I think what we're going to be doing is definitely having a weekly movie Monday episode every Monday. But with everything going on, you know, in the world over these past few months, it's been really hard for both of us to like really be in the cycle and consume all the things that are happening. So in order to be better for our mental health, we kind of took a step back, and if there's anything that we feel like talking about that's like drama worthy, we will upload a Thursday video. But I'm not so sure if that's like a guaranteed time slot, which it really wasn't anyway because we upload once every 3 months. So yeah.
You know,
like
upload every 3 months.
literally,
Plus, there's really have been nothing that I've been wanting to talk about personally
yeah, me neither. Like there hasn't been too much happening that's like I feel like, oh, me and
we
Ash
haven't
are at
talked
the
about already.
yeah. I haven't really seen anything in my cycle. It's like, oh wait, we can talk about this. We have to. Like, I haven't seen that. If I do, or if Astro does, we definitely will make a Thursday drama alert video. But um, as of now, I think we're just gonna stick with this, and it's also really really fun to make and doesn't cause me any mental anguish.
Right? It's just our own opinions and our own minds and stuff like that, and the knowledge
Right.
we have off the dome.
Right. But yeah, this is it. Thank you for tuning in. Have an amazing day. Remember to eat your dinner, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.